Good morning, everybody. It's 9 o'clock Monday morning, and I'm Jane Monreal. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. A lot of you back from a long weekend, starting a work week, and things are looking pretty nice so far here in the Charlotte Metro. We're going to check in with Majestic Storm in a few minutes. In the meantime, July 4th, a devastating day, and it continues to be so in South and Central Texas. As we bring you live pictures right now of Kerrville in Texas, the site of where cleanup efforts continue after deadly flooding. We covered this Friday throughout the day because it was just coming into our newsroom, those pictures. And these are the pictures right now, as you see. We can confirm over 80 people have died. And now Camp Mystic, the camp, a young girls' camp there off the river, they confirmed in the last 40 minutes this morning that 27 girls and counselors have indeed died at that summer camp, the center of this devastating flooding in the Hill Country area of South and Central Texas. A terrible scene there. We can certainly empathize with that as we dealt with our own flooding in Asheville and western North Carolina, coming so unexpectedly for a lot of people. We hear floodwaters were up to 30 feet, happening so fast in the overnight hours, and people were just caught off guard. Jay Gray from NBC News there in Central Texas this morning. He is bringing us the latest of what he's seeing this morning here on WCNC Plus.
Like the floodwaters tearing apart the Texas Hill Country, the rescue and recovery effort here is relentless.
That is where our energy, our resources, and our attention are directed. Nothing is more important than bringing comfort and clarity to those who are waiting and grieving.
Hundreds of first responders working around the clock, going into the fourth straight day now.
The Department of Public Safety is offering any and every resource that we have to help with those searches, whether it be boat teams, rescue, divers, helicopters, drone operators, drones.
High-profile military vehicles, thermal and night vision technology, crews combing the strike zone on foot, others on horseback. This team uncovering the body of a young victim in the debris.
We decided we should look in that spot a little bit more before we went back down, and that's when we found it.
We covered her with a towel.
At least 80 are dead. Dozens still missing, including a group of young girls and their counselor from Camp Mystic.
I think while it was going on, I kind of felt like a sense of numbness.
13-year-old Stella Thompson escaped. She and a group of fellow campers led out by the National Guard through debris, overturned vehicles, camp gear and clothes littering the trees, rescue divers in the water.
Saying it out loud is making me realize what actually happened and how bad it actually is.
A realization so many in Central Texas are struggling with right now. Jay Gray, NBC News, Kerrville, Texas.
And we learned here on the Today Show, Jenna Bush Hager, who is from Texas, of course, her mother, the former First Lady, Laura Bush. She worked previously at Camp Mystic as a drama counselor. NBC News reporting that the former First Lady had a lot of history there, the camp being 100 or so years old. So a tradition and definitely steeped in that summer program for a lot of Texas young girls. So it's just beyond devastating and heartbreaking for a lot of folks there. The president is reportedly to have some plans to head to that part of Texas sometime this week. Alice Barr in Washington covering the latest now.
President Trump back in Washington pledging support for flood-ravaged Central Texas and planning to visit later this week.
I would have done it today, but we'd just be in their way.
While pushing back on questions about whether cuts to the federal government left key vacancies at the National Weather Service.
They did not. They did. I'll tell you, if you look at that water situation, this is a 100-year catastrophe, and it's just so horrible to watch.
That as critics called for an investigation into staffing levels at the offices responsible for issuing flood warnings.
I know there are a number of important vacant positions, and that I and others have been asking for some time how this affects our preparedness here and ability to give alerts.
The legislative director for the National Weather Service Employees Union said the offices did have enough meteorologists to respond, while raising concerns about unfilled senior positions. The National Weather Service released its timeline of alerts starting early Thursday and noting a 1:14 a.m. warning that triggered cell phone alerts. The White House saying the NWS did their job, while in Texas, the long and painful job to recover amid so much loss is just beginning. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And right now we are learning that some pictures are coming in. Of course, Tropical Storm Chantal made landfall Saturday morning over Myrtle Beach, causing a lot of those winds and flooding issues for our own area, for the Carolinas. I want to take you to a live picture right now. This is Chatham County, where a road has collapsed. We have coverage there from the NBC station out of Raleigh, WRAL helicopter there. You can see that road pretty much sunken in, and that person, I don't know if they're fire rescue or whatnot, but definitely one of those dangerous situations. We're hearing about some flooding as well in the Chapel Hill area where there was some damage to a shopping center. So we've had our own issues here because of Chantal over the weekend. So we're going to continue to monitor things there out of Chatham County in North Carolina. But want to get you back to a press conference that occurred yesterday, the latest in Kerrville, Texas. And there's EMS and other officials giving the latest on their deadly flooding. Also want to remind you that later on this afternoon, there is another press conference planned 11 or 12 o'clock back in South Texas. So again, although we will be off Live Impact News, we'll bring you the latest on the midday on WCNC Charlotte, and then continuing back things here at 12:30, where I will rejoin you here in the Live Impact studio. In the meantime, we'll get you caught up with this press conference that happened yesterday, previously recorded. We'll play this in its entirety with officials giving an update on that deadly flooding out of Texas Hill Country.
And thank you all for covering this and helping us get the message out. I'll start first, and then our city manager will go next and give you some information, and then we'll finish with our Kerrville mayor. Okay, what I'm here to do, like I said, is give you all the most current updated information. Please bear in mind these numbers will continue to change. As I'm walking in the door, I'm getting texts. It's going to be like yesterday. I think these numbers are going to continue to change and increase as time goes on, but like I said, we'll do a good job on keeping you updated. Search and rescue operations continue with a full response from local, state, and national first responders. At present, there's over 400 first responders for more than 20 agencies that are working in Kerr County. We have more than a dozen canine working in and near the river. More than 100 air, water, and ground vehicles are in the field right now working on this search and rescue. As of 9 a.m. this morning, we've recorded 59 deceased in Kerr County. Among those who are deceased, we have 38 adults and 21 children. 18 adults pending identification, and 4 children are also pending identification. At present, there are 11 Camp Mystic campers unaccounted for, along with 1 counselor. We extend our sincerest condolences and prayers for every single family affected by this tragedy. And we continue to work around the clock and reunite these families. We will continue to our search efforts until everybody is found. Our missing person call center is open, and those reporting missing loved ones can call the number 830-258-1111. I'll repeat one more time, 830-258-1111. Please follow the Kerr County Sheriff's Office and City of Kerrville Facebook for your latest information. At this time, I'll turn it over to our City Manager, Dalton Rice.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you all for being here today. Everyone in the community is hurting, and we know many of you are locals or have some local connections here, so please keep everybody in your thoughts as we continue to navigate this very challenging time for our community. Search operations continue. Starting about 0600 this morning, we started putting boots on the ground. We have increased our number of personnel that are navigating the really challenging shores along the bank line, but we are continuing to make progress from west to east as we continue operations. What we really need from y'all is to really help us get the word out. We know that people want to volunteer, but what we're starting to see is personal drones that are flying. With these personal drones that are flying, that is a danger to aircraft, which risks then further operations. So if you could, please pass the communication along that we need to keep these personal drones out of the sky. We have drones and assets flying. We want to continue to do that. For volunteers and donations, we do have a phone number, 830-465-4794. We can give you that number after, but if you want to volunteer, if you have donations, please contact that number and they will help get everything out. We have families who need to be reunited, and we are continuously making effort to make sure that our families are reunited. We want to continue to work together with our community. We appreciate everybody here, and we want to make sure that we stay Kerr united. I'm going to let the mayor wants to say a few words, and then I will take a couple questions after the mayor.
Again, thank you for being here. You know, I'm old enough to remember Fred Rogers, and he one time said, during a crisis, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. In Kerrville, those helpers are the city staff, county personnel, state agencies, and federal agencies. The entire Kerrville City Council is on site today. We're doing everything we can. Let me repeat something I said yesterday. In our Emergency Operations Center, it's not a bunch of different teams. It's one team. Our goal is to rescue those in peril and find those who are lost. If you are interested in donating to help those families who've been affected, you can visit the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. They've set up a portal for donations, and I understand our community, our state, and the world have been responding. Thank you. Kerrville's branch of the Salvation Army has been designated as our official partner for volunteer coordination and in-kind donations. They can be reached at a number very similar to what you just heard, 830-465-4797. Also, we have a website for volunteers to register, a different website. It's tcr.communityos.org. It's important to follow the City of Kerrville's Facebook page for updates. If you follow social media and are interested in such things, I may be too old to tell you this, but there is a hashtag. It's hashtag KerrUnited. That's what we are. We're united to help those who are grieving and to find those who are lost. And now we'll open up to questions. I cannot answer operational questions, but I'm going to ask the city manager to come back up.
I'm not sure who can answer this, but we just talked with business owners who are very concerned not only for themselves but also for employees about how are they going to pay their mortgage, how are they going to pay their electricity. They've been having people reach out to them about their bills, and they're terrified that in the middle of all this they're going to get cut off or evicted.
We are working through everything right now. Currently our biggest focus is to making sure that we get families reunited with their loved ones, and so we are not going to stop until we are able to get those families reunited.
Question for both you and the sheriff. There appears to be a massive operation now in Center Point. Is that where we're seeing bodies recovered at this moment?
We are seeing bodies recovered all over, up and down. So as we make our way east to west, we have the entire pretty much span of operations. We broke it down into grids so we can recover those bodies. So yes, it is a full operation.
None as of this morning, Lucy.
One more question.
Yeah, well, one of the questions that still hasn't been answered 3 days into this is despite TEM's warning on July 2nd and July 3rd that something like this could have happened, that the threat existed, why that information didn't get down to the camps and why they weren't evacuated. Can you answer that now?
That is a great question, but again, we want to make sure that we continue to focus. We still have 11 missing children that we want to get reunited with our families. Until we can get reunited with our families, we are not going to stop. We are not going to stop until we do. So, thank you.
Just a quick follow-up question, sir. Was any emergency alert given out on the 4th that morning of? Did anyone get any alert?
Sir, there are families who deserve better than that.
And you can see there that recorded earlier press conference from yesterday. Again, want to update you this morning. We did learn that Camp Mystic confirmed at 8:21 our time, so not even an hour ago, but 27 campers and counselors have died at the camp, the center of the devastating flooding here in the Texas Hill Country area in Kerrville. And you can see there a live picture right now, a lot of fire rescue crews and recovery efforts now on scene. We saw a lot of heavy equipment, small bulldozers and cranes, and it's time to clean up the debris as well. Those floodwaters obviously so damaging and heartbreaking there. This is going to be an ongoing effort as folks try to deal with both the damage to their precious hill country, but also the loss of young lives, family members with the flooding hitting them suddenly there the morning of July 4th. We covered things here in the Live Impact studio, and we will continue to recover those efforts as we understand Samaritan's Purse is headed that way, the Charlotte-based group,
They are
right?
en route now, and
So-
we have been talking with them all morning, and hopefully we'll get to speak to one of the representatives, maybe later this afternoon. It might be during the 7 to 9 stream. Once they
Okay.
get there, kind of assess the situation, start relief efforts.
Right.
We're hoping to get a live
Some-
interview with them.
Okay, they respond so quickly when it comes to these natural disasters and efforts and trying to lend a sense of comfort for those who need it the most. Okay, right now it is 9:18 here in the Live Impact studio, and want to let you know, are we going to go to file election?
Oh, we're going to talk to Majestic.
Oh, okay, Majestic's here, that's why. So I didn't know if you needed more time, Majestic.
No, I am ready to go.
All
How are
right,
you
what's
guys
going
doing?
on? How was your July 4th?
It was pretty good. It was my first 4th of July in North Carolina.
Yeah,
So
what do
I
you
went-
think?
I went to Lake Norman. I love Lake Norman.
at you.
I go there all the time, and I just
Oh.
float. I don't have a boat. Don't have many friends. I just float and cool
You
down.
floated away, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
But it was
Great.
definitely a popular place, that's for
Oh,
sure.
for sure.
Lots of people out there enjoying the nice weather. It was warm, and then, yesterday was a little bit cooler. But yeah, how was
Yeah.
your guys' 4th?
Well, we were here.
Yeah, we were here.
We were here on the 4th.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we
that
enjoyed
was
each other's
fine.
company.
Yeah, as we always do.
Yes.
And then because it was a lot of work on the 4th,
Yeah.
we were just saying I pretty
We
much
napped.
chilled
Relaxed.
on
Yeah.
Saturday. I
Cat
slept.
naps.
Nothing's
dozed.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hardly ever take naps, and I think I took 2 this weekend. I was working
Yeah.
this weekend too.
Yes.
Right, because of
following the tropical
Chantal.
storm.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was still tons of impacts across North Carolina, South Carolina. We were on air as it made landfall right around the Myrtle Beach area.
Mm-hmm.
So let's dive into a few things. We'll start with this. I want to show you a live look right there of Myrtle Beach, because today it's a whole different story. It is beautiful out there. You can see, thankfully, swimmers are not in the water because we're going to continue to watch the dangerous rip currents that are continuing. Right now, the latest update is that tropical depression Chantal is still continuing to move out of the Carolinas, impacting mainly Virginia right now. But you see those boxes that are highlighted in green? Those are still flood warnings that are ongoing in parts of North Carolina, mainly north and west of Raleigh. But the bulk of this system should be back out to the Atlantic by the afternoon and evening hours. So we're on the end of that, making some progress there. Now you can kind of see the track of this. This is what we've been watching the last couple of days, continuing to move north and east at 15 miles an hour. But the National Hurricane Center is not going to give any more updates with that, meaning that basically it is weakening. It's just all breaking up into pieces of rain showers and thunderstorms. Now yesterday we were weather alert because we were watching mainly counties east of I-77 because we were concerned that there could be some flooding concerns. And this is what happened. You can see some of those totals right there. The highest were definitely east of I-77. Most of it was out of our viewing area, which was fantastic. Charlotte, much of the day was just cloudy yesterday, but it was cooler. Those were our largest impacts for us in the mountains. So thankfully, we mainly dodged this. But you can see some of those totals where it made landfall, where it kind of just dragged in a lot of that rain, and that's what we're continuing to see there. Meanwhile, one thing that I think is interesting is, a lot of people want to be at the beach. It's hot over the next couple of days, but rip currents are still really high today, moderate levels tomorrow. It's not going to be really until Wednesday and Thursday that conditions get better. Meanwhile, back home, it is so pretty outside. I mean, we're heading into our Monday after a holiday weekend. Sunny skies, mid to upper 90s today, but with that added humidity, I think really the big weather story today and tomorrow will be the dangerous heat index. Remember, that's the combination of our temperature and the humidity. It's going to feel like we're over 100 degrees today and tomorrow. And then those rain showers and thunderstorms, they're heading back our way by the middle to end of our work week. Outside right now, if you're doing anything this morning, it's a good time to go for the walk, or if you want to work outside in your garden, get it done sooner than later because those temperatures will crank back up. Yesterday, we only reached 86 degrees, which this is interesting because prior to yesterday, we had 17 days in a row where we were at least at 90 degrees. So yesterday felt nice, and it all came from the impacts of what was Tropical Storm Chantal. Today, 96 will be our forecasted high. You can see those high temperatures all across the area. This was yesterday, so notice east of I-77, some areas didn't even reach 80 degrees from Waysboro to Albemarle, and that's where we did see some heavier pockets of rain as well as a tropical storm neared our area. Highs though, there we go, back to reality, into the 90s today. So especially if you work outside in the elements, keep this in mind today and tomorrow that at times it's going to feel over 100 degrees. So of course, take your breaks from the heat, make sure you're staying hydrated, all the things, and sunblock, of course, if you're heading out to the lake. Beautiful out there at Lake Norman this morning. Now, over the next 10 days, there's a broad perspective of our temperatures. Hot today, getting even hotter tomorrow, starting to cool down Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But as we cool down, those percentages for rain showers will start to pop back up. So yes, you'll need to water your grass today and tomorrow. Your garden will definitely need some extra water, but more rain is ahead. So Futurecast just showing you over the next few days. Quiet this morning. There's about 4 o'clock this afternoon, a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. Not out of the question. Only about a 20% chance today and tomorrow. That's typical for our summertime pattern. And then as we're heading through Wednesday, this is the day that we're going to have to pay close attention to. Quiet in the morning time, but watch what happens as we head towards Wednesday afternoon. There's 4 o'clock, seeing more coverage as far as that active weather goes. We could even see heavy downpours. If we see slow-moving storms, flooding and flash flooding could even become a concern here. So we may have to go weather alert on Wednesday. Still learning more about that system as we get a little bit closer. So of course, we'll keep you up to date. I wanted to see how much rain we're picking up on this, and of course models are a little all over the place, but some of these models are showing very impactful rain as we're looking at Wednesday and into Thursday. I mean, look at that, from Charlotte up towards Concord specifically. Hopefully over the next couple of days we'll get a better idea as to how much rain we could see, but if this is how it played out, then that could be very concerning. Again, that would be Wednesday and into Thursday. With that, strong to severe thunderstorms would also be possible. Very minimal chance on Tuesday. I mean, I'm not totally buying Tuesday's forecast from the Storm Prediction Center, but Wednesday I do agree that we'll have to stay alert to see if any of those storms do turn severe. All right, 7-day forecast here, hot and humid today and tomorrow, and then we'll start to cool back down Wednesday and Thursday, even into Friday, but that'll be right near our average. We should be at about 90 degrees, but again, I think we'll have to watch for rain potential, storm potential, and whether or not those storms turn severe and whether or not they bring a risk for any flooding or even flash flooding. So still following a lot of things today.
Okay, I wanted to show you this too, Majestic. This is in Durham. We mentioned flooding because of what happened with Chantal, and now we can see that flooding really impacting things out in eastern North Carolina. There's Durham County near the Eno River.
Eno. So apologize to our friends in the east. We are not.
Yeah,
not
Eno
familiar.
River. Let us know. Eno River in Durham County, happening this morning after rain caused the river to overflow. Our friends there at WRAL with live pictures right now over this apartment complex where 80 people were rescued from flooded homes and apartments near that river, and we're learning that they had to be rescued by boat overnight. Dozens more evacuated their homes on foot. And so you can see that big mess there. So we're definitely seeing the effects of things here.
Absolutely, and I think flooding is one of those things that you really do have to take seriously. I mean, that's a big reason why we did issue our weather alert day yesterday, because we were concerned that perhaps the storm might bring those impacts to some of our eastern communities as well. Thankfully, we did not see anything significant like that. But still ongoing. I mean, I'm looking at radar and you can still see remnants of Tropical Depression Chantal continuing to mainly spread across Virginia at this point, but it seems like National Weather Service still has flood warnings in place for many areas in northern North Carolina right there. So scary how powerful water is and how fast it can build. And just a reminder for people to really take that seriously when we're talking about flooding, is, I mean, life-threatening in an instance, as we've seen in several different cases recently.
Chris Mulcahy would say, just because we're saying it's not in our area, or just because it's not a tropical, or it's not a any kind of category 1 or 2, you should still be aware of any kind of major storm, whether it is not in our area or is, because it causes issues like this, severe flooding there. And you can see the water level almost up to the bottom of the windowsill on this house right here.
Yeah.
Probably,
Up to that
almost
trampoline.
middle of the door.
Yeah.
Oh, bottom of the trampoline in the backyard.
I mean, that is just so scary. And that's the thing, like when you have heavy rains like this and when you have storms like that, seeing that rapid rise in rivers, streams, creeks, I mean, that is all a possibility. And it's just so important to really take that seriously. Look at that. As
You almost don't know where the river is.
Yeah.
No.
Right? Like, where's the
and
source
where the neighborhood
of
is
this?
compared to the river? Yeah. Because we look at some of these
Incredible.
neighbors here, like
Yeah.
completely fine, and then the house across the street's
Wow.
like underwater. It's
That
wild.
really, you can see just that dividing line. Oh my goodness. Almost makes me think of when the fires happened in LA. People in the Palisades, Malibu, that area where it originated, where things were burned to a crisp in one area, and then some homes were
untouched.
saved.
Yeah.
Right at that line.
Yep.
Just want to read from our, the NBC affiliate in Raleigh, WRAL, saying that this started to rise at 9:30 last night. River rose 22 feet in 4 hours to record flood levels, beating out river levels from Hurricane Fran in 1996.
Wow.
So some people, again, were able to evacuate before the water rose too high, perhaps looking out to Kerrville, Texas, and seeing what happened there. But with this happening at 9:30 at night, I know I'm in bed around that time, and who knows what
the water just starts coming in when you're sleeping.
So one witness saying that they did indeed wake up, hear the sound of water around them, and then having to suddenly open the window and seeing that the driveways were flooded with water. You think you're safe on a certain elevation, but things are a mess there. So we will monitor things there for North Carolina, Durham County,
Chatham County.
Yep. Again, I mentioned earlier Eastgate Shopping Center in Chapel Hill, if you're familiar with that area. So pocketed heavy flooding out there in the Raleigh-Durham area. And you have those boxes there, Majestic, with the flood warning still.
Yeah, so it seems
Until
like it
later
is
on.
still an ongoing issue. Even though the storm, you can see it's outside of the Carolinas, tracking across Virginia, northeast. I mean, National Weather Service is still showing that flooding remains a problem. Not only are we seeing it on my maps, but as you can see in those live camera footage shots of what's currently ongoing. Just really puts into perspective how far spread a storm can become. And this was a tropical storm. It didn't even hit that hurricane level yet, and at this point it's a tropical depression, but the impacts of water is definitely scary with how much it can pile up. And again, locally, just showing some of those possible rain totals as we're looking towards the middle half of our week, that could be problematic with some of those totals. Let me see if I can pull that up one more time, being a bit problematic for us because all of a sudden you get this rain that just rushes in so quickly. So of course we're still several days out, but that's showing Wednesday to Thursday. I mean, if this actually adds up, that's showing that some of our counties could get 2, 3, 4, even 5 inches of rain, and that's when you would see something that's rapidly rising, creeks and rivers and things like that, especially for flood-prone areas, those low-lying areas. So definitely continuing to watch the impacts of Chantal across Virginia and North Carolina, but seeing our local impacts here ahead as we're looking towards the middle half of our week.
Oh boy, well, we are off to one of those starts, Monday morning. Welcome back. And
Yes.
we feel for our friends out there in Durham County. We'll definitely monitor things. Majestic Storm here in the Live Impact Studio, and for Chris Mulcahy, who's taking a couple of well-deserved days off for his boy's birthday.
Yes.
Appreciate your time and input, Majestic.
Of course, thanks for having me. I'll see you guys again tomorrow then.
Oh, sounds good. We will see you then. Thank you. Those pictures, by the way, out of Durham County from the helicopter, they were live video pictures. We will continue to monitor things. It seems that helicopter has departed the scene.
It seems
for
like
now.
they're just kind of going from scene to scene to scene. Like we saw the washed out road, we saw the apartments. It seems like they're just kind of hitting the hot spots around the Raleigh area.
So we'll just kind of make sure to
keep an eye
sort
on
of
it.
pop in.
Once there's a shot, we will show you.
All right, that sounds like a plan. And that's Carlene for you, joining in this morning. My right-hand woman, always.
Always.
Always, always. All right, appreciate you, always.
I appreciate you always.
We got to spread the love here on a Monday because it's a tough start.
Yes.
All right, we're feeling it today. Let's see. This morning and happening today, we are getting a better idea of who might lead our city in Charlotte this fall, because with the election coming up, we do have starting today, people can file if they are interested in running. And our Richard Devane was able to talk to two candidates who filed today. Their interviews here in their entirety played for you now here on WCNC Plus.
You just signed up. Tell us who you are. We'll grab you right here.
Hello. I'm Shemaya Haynes, and I'm running for District 2 School Board.
The most important question is why?
I'm running based on the fact that I am a parent of CMS, a West Charlotte high school graduate, a current high school graduate, and I've had concerns in education for a long time, and this is one of the most democratic ways to solve problems, and it's also one of the ways in which we can improve things.
Now, I would say you're running against an incumbent, but the incumbent's not run. Come here. You've been on. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Good morning. I'm Thelma Byers-Bailey. I'm the current District 2 School Board representative for 12 years.
For almost as long as I've been at the station, you're stepping down. Why this support?
Well, I'm stepping down because I came on the board for a vision, and in the 12 years I've been on the board, I've accomplished the things I came here to do. But I'm stepping down because I believe in the vision that she has for District 2, and she's going to take it forward to places where I have never even thought.
Okay. Now we're going to start with some questions for both of you. And maybe you can address this, and then you can talk about what you think about this. There have been concerns from some parents, like in the situation down at Audrey Kell and some other school. I can't talk about personnel issues, but how do you feel about parents and teachers concerned about the district's lack of notification about certain issues like that?
Well, the district has rules and procedures and laws that we have to abide by. And we cannot notify, there's some things we can't discuss at all. And then there's some things that we can't discuss until the issue is ripe. And so I know that that's frustrating to parents and community. I get that, but you would be even more disappointed with us if we got sued for doing something we shouldn't have done.
We don't want another lawsuit in Mecklenburg County. Just what are some of the things you think are most important? We asked you why you're running, but that faces the school board, and what do you hope, if elected, you'll be able to do?
Sure. So I think we have school board members that are very passionate about children and parents and teachers and all those things. But I also think we need to challenge the community more to get engaged in CMS. Sometimes there are barriers for the community to actually get involved and take more ownership in the schools. In District 2 specifically, we definitely need to make some changes around that. I have some initiatives that I already have started to move forward, and getting on the school board will just help those initiatives move a little bit faster, hopefully.
Well, good luck to you. And first endorsement today, right? So that's pretty good.
Right.
You bought your own endorsement. Works. I love the purple shirt.
And it's a blessing when it happens.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, and thank you for all of your service. So good to see you again. That's just one of them. We got some other folks here. I don't know if Mr. Campbell wants to speak. He's in there. He's also running for school board. We'll talk to him in a few minutes. And Mr. Kings is still outside. He's running against Tijuana Brown in that district, that contested district. Well, that district will be contested, the one that she has spoken about, that she wants to continue to keep that office. We were going to speak to him. As a matter of fact, we're going to stall for just a few seconds and talk. Ben knows all of the questions and all the answers and stuff like this, how important this is. A lot of seats up for election. Of course, we're going to be looking at a number of the seats for the city council, which are real important. Come on. Come on in here. You just filed a few minutes ago. Introduce yourself, Mr. King.
Hi everyone, I'm Montravius King, candidate for candidate for Charlotte City Council District 3. Happy to be here.
No, thank
you for covering us this morning.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. So the question I have to ask you is, you run against somebody who's very popular, but recently Tijuana Brown had some issues. So why run against her?
Well, the thing about it is, we're not running against anyone. We're in this race because Charlotte is at a very critical point right now. We're at a crossroads. We have a crime issue on our hands, we have an affordability issue on our hands, and we have a mobility issue on our hands. People want to see results, and so that's what I bring to the table. Results, experience, and the ability to bring people together rather than divide people. So that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the issues and not the noise. So just excited to be in the race.
Just excited to be in the race. What was it like when you signed and said you finally came out and got a couple of hugs?
It felt good. It felt really, really good. You know, I've been up all night.
So have I.
That's how
so have I. I do it every day. I do it all the time.
You do it all the time?
If you're a council member, you got to do it a lot too, right?
Absolutely. You got to be ready for it.
Well, congratulations to you and good luck to your folks and everything. And they're cheering right here now.
Of course, our Richard Devane is up all night. He works those hours. All right, here in the Live Impact studio, you are watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Over the weekend and July 4th, a lot of people celebrating. That's a good thing. But there were a number of people arrested in Uptown, in Bearden Park. A number of those were juveniles. Also in Uptown over the weekend, there was an officer-involved shooting where now this morning we do have a CMPD officer recovering after being shot yesterday while off duty. He was responding, though, to a disturbance at an Uptown apartment complex. We do have the press conference from yesterday and what CMPD had to say following this shooting. We'll play this for you. It's about 5 minutes long, previously recorded in its entirety for you here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everyone. So this morning, shortly after 6 a.m., we received phone calls and notifications that we had an officer needing assistance. And the initial information is that we had a disturbance in the 600 block of North Church near some apartments. The officer went to de-escalate that disturbance. During that, the suspect and the officer had a confrontation that resulted in the officer sustaining a single gunshot wound to his leg. The officer was treated by responding officers and given medical assistance with a tourniquet to his leg. They transported him to Atrium Health, where he underwent surgery this morning. He is currently still in surgery, but out of critical condition and is currently in stable condition. The suspect fled on foot. Officers responded to the scene, observed him fleeing on foot, and were able to take him into custody. So he is currently being interviewed at the Law Enforcement Center now regarding the shooting of the officer. And the officer's family has arrived at the hospital and is currently there supporting him, as well as CMPD.
If you can, you said a disturbance. Do we know, was this a domestic situation? What kind of call was this?
The initial information is some sort of domestic-related disturbance that then led to the officer trying to de-escalate, which then led to the shooting of the officer.
And the shooting, was that inside a building, outside on the street?
Outside.
So the confrontation was on the street, and that's where he ended up encountering the suspect?
Yes.
What do we know about this individual, the suspect?
It's all very early in the investigation. Our homicide unit, our district attorney, all of our partners are on scene working through that. Initially, we'll share that on a further update later.
The officer who responded, was he by himself, or were there others on the way, or with him?
He was by himself during the initial engagement, but then moments later, other officers were able to arrive and then assist him with the medical treatment from his gunshot wound.
Do we know if he fired back by any chance?
It's very, very early in the investigation, but again, as those details come out later, we'll share updates.
Anything that how this situation, just on the end, the shooting, how that ended. We know how this ended with the suspect fleeing and our officer shot.
Yeah, again, like when you're dealing with people that are involved in some sort of disturbance or heated argument, with another person, and then the officer tries to de-escalate that, and then it escalates up, things happen very quickly. We're just grateful that the officer is in stable condition now, and that the injuries weren't worse, and that we have this suspect in custody.
How were you able to track him down, the suspect?
One of the responding officers saw him fleeing, and then was able to engage in a foot pursuit, and then as officers came in, they were able to get him into custody.
And I take it you have the weapon also?
We're working through all the details of all the evidence. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Who was the gun? Whose gun was it? Just for clarity, who did the gun belong to?
We're still working through that because the officer is unable to give an interview yet because he immediately rushed into surgery. So we don't have answers to that right now that I can share.
If you don't mind, I imagine when something like this happens, it brings a bit of clarity for everybody wearing a badge. Talk to me about that.
Yes, sir. I think that the inherent risks and dangers of wearing a uniform and being a police officer, right? Whether in uniform or out of uniform, there's always risks of engaging with people that are committing crimes or trying to hurt someone, right? Or are a danger to the public or someone else. And as we step into those roles, voluntarily, there's a risk with that. And, I hope that the prayers go out to the family for support this morning and continued. And this is a stark reminder of the dangers that our officers face for the Charlotte citizens on a day-to-day basis.
And that is the latest on the officer-involved shooting in Uptown. We will have the very latest for you regarding the condition of that officer, as well as the circumstances that led up to the shooting. I want to bring you a live picture right now, again, with heavy flooding out towards the Raleigh-Durham area. There's a live picture of where you could see the road collapsed, and then this van or SUV, pretty much, who knows what led up to that. If Carlene, you said, if you're
riding like in a certain speed and there's a road and there's not street lamps and it's dark, like you're not gonna see
where
the
road give out
unless you're right up on it, right?
Right, absolutely. So that picture, it looks like it froze there, but the picture, you can see the front bumper, bottom of your screen, and then the van actually just pretty much straddling that collapsed part of the road. So wow, there are 12 counties, we understand, I think, in the Raleigh-Durham area, 12 counties that are under some sort of active watch or warning or advisory for heavy flooding. And we saw one apartment complex moments ago in Durham with heavy flooding surrounding homes. That's where 80 people had to be evacuated. More on that as the day wears on and we gather more information. And of course, again, heavy flooding in the South Texas area as we continue to monitor live pictures here. This looks like there is just surveillance and recovery efforts at this point. We saw heavy equipment for cleanup along the Guadalupe River, where a number, I believe now at least 80 people have been confirmed to die in this flooding starting over the holiday weekend, including 27 girls and counselors from Camp Mystic. Just an awful situation from the hill country area of Central and South Texas. As we just take a live picture here, you can see fire and rescue crews now just walking along the banks, and there's some of the bulldozing equipment there. You can see just all of this tree debris that will have to be moved and dealt with in the coming weeks. We certainly have seen similar pictures in Western North Carolina following Helene. So they have the task ahead of them for the foreseeable future, dealing with the destruction and the devastation and the heartache, losing so many lives there in Hill Country. All right, here at 9:46 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. It is a Monday. We appreciate you watching on Live Impact News, downloading the app. Hopefully you're watching us on your TV, that you can see us nice and big there on your Roku, Fire, or Apple TV. And then you can also spread the word to your friends across the country, because we do bring these latest pictures for you really all over. As we have those live feeds come in to WCNC Charlotte's newsroom, we also put them back out for you as it is impacting everybody's lives. And again, a live picture there just showing you some of the latest there out of South Texas and East Texas, or not South and Central Texas, pardon me. All right, we are monitoring things again in the area. We're going to visit with our friends here in San Antonio, Texas, as they are covering now a lot of the storm damage. Let's go ahead and listen in here on Live Impact News on WCNC.
Republican Congressman August Pfluger represents San Angelo and other parts of West Texas. This weekend, he wrote on Facebook that he was reunited with his 2 young daughters who were evacuated from Camp Mystic. He also wrote his family is mourning with those families who suffered loss, and they are holding out hope for more survivors.
Meantime, the deadly flooding also happened Saturday up the road in the Austin area.
Yeah, reporter Malia Masumoto has more on the damage from those raging waters left behind in Travis County.
Good morning. Travis County leaders say it's going to take weeks to clean up this mess. You can see this boat flipped completely upside down with debris on top of it, a small tractor destroyed, and what looks to be a roof completely torn off. Travis County leaders say 6 people have died related to floods that hit the area. Judge Andy Brown said crews rescued dozens of people on Saturday. John Lewis said his childhood home sat along Sandy Meadow Circle. His home was built by his mother in the late 70s and early 80s, and the flood lifted the home from its foundation. Now it's gone.
It's sort of like you're trying to take in what your memory used to be. It's like, oh, I remember there used to be my tree house over there. Well, the tree and everything is completely completely gone.
The Travis County judge issued a disaster declaration to help people get quicker access to critical resources like debris removal, road clearance, search and rescue operations, and support for anyone who can't get home yet. In Travis County, I'm Malia Masumoto.
Oh yeah, a lot of cleanup and a lot of just thoughts and prayers to everybody, and just heavy days lately. All right, we got another impact day for today. Flooding possible. Stay aware. That's what we need to do today. We've got another flash flood watch in effect. I'll show you that here in just a second. So clouds out there this morning. Current temperature 78. It's a muggy morning. It's a pretty warm morning. Record low 65. Record high 104. Set back in 1891. We haven't broke a record in a while. All right, so the high is going to be 91. That's going to be below average. Our temperatures have been at average or below average for about a month now, something like that. So the temperatures, we can't complain about that, but we've definitely picked up too much rain. All right, we've got another chance for some rain today. I think a 70% chance of showers this morning, about a 40% chance of seeing some thunderstorms this afternoon. Some of the downpours could be heavy this afternoon. That's why we've got a flash flood watch in effect until 7 p.m., including Hill Country, I-35 corridor, and some of the counties out towards the west. We've got an inverted trough in place. We've got some lift because of that. Now, I will say that the amount of tropical moisture has definitely decreased compared to the last couple of days. Also, the mechanism for rainfall has decreased a little bit. So I think the rain's going to be a little more spotty, at least the heavy flooding rain, but it's definitely going to be possible throughout the day. We've got a thunderstorm right now in Maverick County. We've got some rain around Fredericksburg, some light shower activity here in Bexar County. You want your umbrella. Make sure you've got that as you head out the door this morning. So for today, high temperatures will be in the low 90s. We'll have a chance for some hit and miss showers and even some thunderstorms. And some of those thunderstorms, there's a lot of tropical moisture still left over. So some of the downpours will be heavy. And then tomorrow we'll be looking at another chance for some scattered rain as we head through the day, mainly to the south and east, but spreading through the hill country as well. And I think the next couple of days will be pretty much like that as well. All right, current temperature 78 degrees, Gonzales 78, Hondo's coming in at 76. Some hit and miss showers around. You know, over the last 3 days, the places that have seen the most rainfall right in through here, those are the places that are seeing rain again this morning. Here's our setup. We've got an upper level ridge of high pressure centered way out to the west. We still have this little weak disturbance in place. I showed you the inverted trough right there. And so again today, it's going to be the focus for showers and thunder showers. As we head into tomorrow, the ridge primarily out towards the west. We still have a weakness in the atmosphere between the high to the east and the high to the west. And so still think we've got about a 30% chance for your Tuesday, about a 20% chance for Wednesday. And then the chances for rain should go away temporarily Thursday and Friday. And here's the main reason why, I think. We've got some dust that'll be coming in, Saharan dust, and that'll be the 10th and the 11th. Okay, so for today, again, scattered thunderstorm activity around, your high temperature 91. And even where it's not showing thunderstorm activity, I think there could be across the hill country as well. All right, pollen count 490 in light, pigweed is 20 in light. The aquifer sitting right around 638. It has gone up quite a bit. Matter of fact, since May the 22nd, the aquifer has gone up almost 15 feet, so really responding to the rainfall as you would imagine. All right, 91 for a high today, tomorrow 92, 93, about a 30 to 20% chance of picking up some rain. Some of those downpours could be heavy. Saharan dust moves in for the 10th and the 11th, so those will be impact days as well. And a slight chance for rain comes back for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the 12th, 13th, and 14th. All right, Sarah, what are you watching out there this morning?
So just when I said it, Paul, that it was quiet this morning, we now have an accident over here on the city's northwest side. We're taking a live look on our TransGuide camera at I-10 at Huebner. I was just able to confirm that this is an accident impacting the westbound lanes. We have now a 40-minute delay, folks, tacked on to this. 2 left lanes are blocked, and we got stop and go traffic being reported from Medical Drive. Once I get some more details on this, I'll be sure to pass those along. Over to our map, that accident as well as a stall are the only 2 things that are working right now. That stall is along I-35 north at New Braunfels, but not impacting the main lanes of traffic. Elsewhere in San Antonio, things look pretty good. We have a few pockets of yellow starting to pop up, but that's just common with rush hour traffic. I want to take my focus now over to Kerr County, where we're seeing those devastating impacts from those floods from the 4th of July. Just truly heartbreaking stuff we are seeing. I want to take it over to Drive, Texas now. If you were with us on Friday, I used this visual quite a bit because I think it's great to see from up above what's happening on the ground down below. Now, I know it's hard to believe, but this is actually an improvement from Friday. You can see it's now in the shape of a Y. Still a lot of blue on our map here as water remains on the roads. And I do have several road closures. The first I want to talk about is from Kerr County. This was posted yesterday at 2:25, and once they get back in the office this morning, I'm going to see if I can get some updated information, but don't expect a whole lot of change due to the damage out there. Going to read some of those off quickly for you. Arrowhead, Cougar Park, Dowling, Ellers, Rio Vista, Felix Fisher. You may notice an asterisk by some of these names. That means emergency passable. That means only first responders and people who live in the immediate area can access these roads. The traveling public must stay away, take an alternate route. Here was a look at the road closures from TxDOT now on this second graphic. FM 1340, State Highway 39, FM 394, as well as RM 480. Folks, please stay away from these roads. Cannot emphasize that enough. But of course, as those roads start to clear up, I'll keep you updated.
Okay, Noah's going to make a fire. Our job is to let him do it.
All right, as you were watching a live coverage there from Ken's 5, our partner in the Tegna family of TV stations across the country, their coverage out of San Antonio on the damaging, deadly flooding in Kerrville, Texas. We will continue to monitor things there as they just went to commercial break. But here at home, we did have the pleasure to have some wonderful guests on Friday. Yes. On Friday, a group group of moms and their children from medically complex backgrounds, some of them not even nonverbal even, going to Capitol Hill trying to lobby against the one big beautiful bill that we know has since passed and signed by the president, but they're on a mission. They do have some things that they're also looking to for their future mission, trying to get the care they need to take care of their children and other people's children. So here's that interview on Friday, previously recorded. If you were not with us for the holiday, hope you get to enjoy this. This is Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Thanks for watching. WCNC Plus. We have some special guests right now in the studio as I want to talk about the president. Of course, he is preparing to sign his one big beautiful bill later today. The House passed the bill yesterday in a narrow vote, 218 to 214. And among the changes, the bill's going to cut deeply into Medicaid. So despite an urgent appeal on Capitol Hill, our group who we have here in studio, it's a good one. It is the group Little Lobbyists, families of children with complex medical needs, for a better term, Stacy, were unable to stop the bill's passage. And this morning we are joined by two members of the group, Stacy Staggs here to right in front of me, and then Alexis Stadler, both who traveled to Washington last month, right, to make their case for their daughters. We have Emma, who's next to Stacy, and Kinsley. Hi girls. How are you? How's everyone doing? We thank you for coming in on this July 4th holiday, everybody. Stacy, talk to me about the vote yesterday. You must have been prepared in some way, one way or another. What was your reaction when you first learned about it?
Yes, absolutely. We are always prepared as medical parents. It's a requirement of our lives.
Sure.
So while we are always looking at what we expect will happen, we're prepared for alternatives. It was pretty clear to us being on the Hill just Tuesday, right?
No, we drove down Tuesday night and we were on the Hill on Wednesday.
Okay.
We were back and forth to DC twice this week, so all the days are blurring together a little bit.
One big week. Okay. Wow, tireless. Your group, Stacy, tell me how and when you organized or when this organized. Yeah.
I love to share this story.
Okay.
So the Little Lobbyist origin story was what we're calling it. In the summer of 2017. After Trump had been elected to his first term, and he did campaign on ending the Affordable Care Act, which would be devastating for families like ours and really all Americans. In the spring of 2017, the House actually took that action and they repealed the Affordable Care Act. So it had to go to the Senate. Now, on that day, I remember a mix of fear, panic, and anger. How could this happen? I reached out on social media and I found a number of other families who were also feeling similar things. Some of them were near in the DC area. And my friend, Elena Hung, who is now the executive director of Little Lobbyist, she lives in Maryland and said, you know what if we just went down to Capitol Hill and see if anybody wanted to talk to us? So she and her friend, Michelle, and their kids and their mobility equipment, their service animals, their portable oxygen tanks, just rolled up to Capitol Hill. And again, didn't have any appointments, but just hoped they might find somebody who wanted to talk to us. And they did. They absolutely did. There were a number of
Klobuchar there.
Democratic senators in particular who were interested in hearing our stories. So at that point, we did not have the name yet, but we did have a reporter following us that day. Oh, Emma for the Senate. We did have a reporter following us that day who then wrote an article and dubbed us the Little Lobbyists. So we're not actually licensed lobbyists, we're just families. And that one day, that was supposed to be just one day lobbying on the Hill, has become hundreds at this point, both through Trump's first administration, all the way through Biden's administration, and now again, of course, as we're trying to protect Medicaid, because it's the services that keep our kids healthy, safe, and alive in our homes.
Alexis, tell us about your daughter and how this bill, now going to pass, how this will affect your family.
So this is my daughter Kinsley, who we call Sunshine in human form because she is so full of light. She was sick from the time she was born, and we had to fight really hard to actually get her even approved for the Medicaid waiver, Cap C, in North Carolina. We fought for about a year to get her approved for that, and it was life-changing for us in ways where we were able to get therapies, her wheelchair, things that our private insurance that we pay for does not cover. And then at 3 years old, Kinsley was also diagnosed with brain cancer on top of everything else. And during her cancer treatment, because we had Cap C through Medicaid, we were able to do a lot of things at home that she would have had to be in the hospital for if we didn't have Medicaid. So IV antibiotics, IV nutrition, because her GI system was completely paralyzed and she couldn't eat through her feeding tube anymore. All of these things where she would have had to be in a hospital 24/7, we were able to do at home with the help of having nursing that Medicaid pays for in our home, so that she could continue being part of her community and being able to be with her friends and her family, her big sister and all her dogs, and being at home in her space. And now, I don't have the figures in front of me for North Carolina specifically, but back between 2010 and 2012, when there were Medicaid cuts that were not nearly as deep as the cuts that are going to be happening now, home and community-based services were the first thing to go. And Cap C, which is what our children are on, is a home and community-based service, because these are considered optional services in the state. So if they're looking to cut something, the first thing that's going to be cut is optional. And these are our children who are getting to be in their community, not only survive, but thrive, make friends, go to school, do all of these things because of Medicaid. And now we're looking at possibly having to, if her Medicaid gets pulled, me having to quit my job and stay home with her and be her nurse 24/7, because she cannot be without a nurse, or my husband or I, because we are the only ones who are trained enough to do her care.
Yeah, I can't imagine what you do now. What are you guys going to do? What's the next plan or next step?
Yes, well, until the vote yesterday, our plan was to stop it by talking with legislators and letting them meet our children and hear our stories, and hopefully accessing the empathy and humanity that exists in everyone, most people, and just help them understand the impact of their votes. I mean, that's always been our charge, is to put a face to healthcare, and the votes that they're taking in Washington, D.C. have human impact, of course. And that's true for all of the votes that they do. Now that it has passed and is likely to be signed by the White House, our charge changes to two different things. We're now going to be focused on harm reduction, as we're working with the state legislatures through their budgeting process. Same thing, we'll be going to Raleigh, we'll be talking with the legislators, we'll say, these are the kids that you're voting on, and here's what will happen to them if they don't have the services that they need. We'll also be focused very heavily on accountability. For the Republicans in Congress who voted in favor of this bill, that's a choice that they made. They did not have to make that choice. And as midterms approach, of course, we have a lot of work to do, and that will include making sure everyone knows that they voted against the will of their constituents and against families like ours.
When you think, and you guys were only in Washington just days ago, the lobbying experience, and you brought the kids, and I mean, to bring everything, not only is that, I mean, a burden for any person to do a road trip like that with fully functioning and healthy families, but what was that like, and how do you march forward?
So we actually, when we went to DC last week, we had a horrific experience in the airport, and we were stuck in the airport for hours with suitcases full of medical equipment, all of these things. Got to the hotel at 2 a.m. and then woke up the next day and went to the Hill. And I think when you put medical moms who have been through all of this, and we're watching our children's health care possibly be stripped away, there's nothing that's going to stop us. Even the extra, all the luggage, the back pain from carrying everything all over Capitol Hill, you know, it's none of it is going to stop us from keep doing the work to make sure that our kids have what they need.
Absolutely. I'll share too that when the Senate voted, that must have been Tuesday, the first thing that happened is Alexis messaged me and said, "Are we getting in the car?" And I said, okay, let's do that. Gathered, again, we had just come back on Sunday, so I grabbed the top of the clean laundry, so it was the same clothes. We drove up, it was about 5 until 1 a.m. We drove through a terrible rainstorm that night, and then asleep by 2, alarm set for 6, back on the Hill at 8 a.m. I'll be honest, the kids handle it better than the adults.
Okay. That many times that's the case, isn't it?
They were, of course, playing with each other and just happy to be doing something kind of interesting and new, whereas we're the ones going, okay, here's what has to happen next. We're keeping track of formula feeds, and are we on track with our medicine doses? When we landed in D.C. the first time, it was also an electrical storm, and the airport couldn't pull luggage off the planes, and we had to check Kinsley's wheelchair. So the first response from the airplane was, just come back tomorrow and get your luggage. We were like, it's her wheelchair. We're here until it becomes available. So we went down to baggage claim and sat for another 2.5 hours while Emma ran circles around the baggage claim, sat in random people's laps just to say hi. Kinsley was singing songs, and as the luggage started coming off the belts 2.5 hours later, everyone was cheering for each other when they found, not just our flight, but other flights that had also been impacted. We're high-fiving strangers going, great job, now you can go
victory
where you're going.
Yeah. So you're smiling and your energy is so positive. Really, I mean, amazing what you're going through, what you went through, what happened yesterday. How do you do it? One, as parents that have to work and support your families, help do that, and be mother and medical moms, as you say. How do you do it?
I think I took some advice from the show Bluey yesterday. There's
You
like Bluey? Yes, we love Bluey, and it's a checklist. Have a good cry, dust yourself off, pick yourself up, and keep going. The show must go on. So I had a really good cry. I let the anger hit for a little bit.
Keep going.
You keep on going.
You keep on going, and that's the thing. Two things can be true, and grief can coexist with joy. And I think we need to focus on the joy of our children and what they bring to the world, and showing that to the world, and what the legislation they're passing can possibly impact all of these things that they get to do in their community. Years ago, if she didn't have medication, she wouldn't have been able to go to school. She just graduated kindergarten. So, getting to letting the joy coexist with the grief, and being able to say, you know what, this is terrible, this is awful.
I'm in first grade now.
You are in first grade now. That, we're going to be able to say, we're going to just keep going because we don't give up.
Stacey, that's what you're doing? Just keep on going?
Oh, absolutely. I would say I'm fueled by joy and spite and coffee. We'll sleep when the work is done. And we have a lot to do still before the midterms. But I'm telling you, on Wednesday, when we were in the House side of the Capitol, we had 19 people. It included 5 kids who use wheelchairs and our parents. I don't think we had a nurse with us.
No, I think we were all. No, we did have a nurse with. We had one nurse with us.
Yes, we did. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So what is really magical is seeing the kids interact together. They remember each other from the last visit that we've done. They're high-fiving. Everyone's talking about how big each other has gotten. What grade are you going into? Do you like this game on your tablet? And seeing the kids interact is, I mean, just
priceless.
Heaven for me. Especially kids who don't have access to other kids with wheelchairs or, feeding tubes. All the kids had a feeding tube this time.
Yeah.
So we were talking about that. We're showing each other cool backpacks. I have a video I can share of wheelchair races down the hallway.
Yes. Kinsley does not she's the only child at her school with a wheelchair, so like she doesn't get to interact with other kids with wheelchairs often. So she's racing down the hallway of the Capitol building with her new friends, and they're. Not right now. No, not right now. Yeah. So they, and even between Sunday when we came home and Wednesday when we went back, other moms were saying, I've seen such a difference in her and her starting to verbalize and advocate for herself. Like I was doing an interview and she started speaking up and saying, yeah, I need my nurses. And speaking up for herself, and I think it's important for them to find that voice and be able to advocate for themselves, because that's the goal eventually one day. Like I'll never stop advocating for her, but eventually I want her to be able to use her own voice and say, this is what I need and this is what you're doing that's going to harm me and my friends.
Yeah, she's doing it. She's doing it here in the Live Impact studio right now, Kinsley. I love it. What do you want our viewers to know about your mission?
I would love for everyone to know who their state legislators are, what district they live in, and even more importantly, our elected leaders need to know who we are. So name recognition, conversations, eventual relationships. I mean, I'm friends at this point with multiple people in the state legislature and even at the federal level. And that's because I summoned my courage, dialed the phone, entered an email, and said, hey, could we talk? So I think that more people being more active and more participatory in not just the election process that happens every year, but also the day-to-day, like learning about what's going on in Raleigh right now regarding the budget and how that is going to be impacted by the vote that happened yesterday. So I think if we can take anything away from today, it's you've got to reach out, you've got to get involved, you have to keep the conversation going, whether it's the kid's teacher at school, or for us it's the therapist or the nurses. Just talk about what is going on, what's at risk, and you'll find that there are a lot of good people who want to help. They're just they're not sure how to get started. So my advice is pour a cup of coffee or whatever you drink in the morning, take a few deep breaths, and dial the phone.
All right. I mean, outside of politics, I think just the message of family and strength and resilience and moving forward is such a takeaway for anybody to take,
Our kids should be at home just like every kid should be in their families' lives with their toys and their comfy bed, and the things that make a family are what we're working to preserve. It's not an exaggeration to say that our daughters are in harm's way because of this bill. In multiple ways. If it's not even just one thing. It's not just health care. It's not just Medicaid that they're eligible for. It's the risk of being taken from their home and placed in a skilled nursing facility or a nursing home, because institutions that were operating very shabbily in, as recently as the 80s, they don't exist anymore. They've been closed because they found out that people being at home in their community gives better results, and by the way, it's a whole lot less expensive. I mean, we throw around these gigantic numbers, more money than I'll ever see in my life. But It is the lives of our kids. They deserve to be at home with us, and we want to be home with them and have our play dates and go to the pool. You know, I would love to have met Alexis and Kinsley under different circumstances, but we are made to do this work because there's a mortal risk for the lives of our kids, and whether our family remains intact or not, somebody somewhere is going to be harmed. I hope it's not us. I hope it's not you. I don't want it to be anybody.
Yeah, we're not just doing this for our kids, it's for all kids who benefit from programs like this. And a lot of people are saying to me, like, you know, internet trolls, like, oh, if your child is legitimately disabled, they're not going to lose their coverage. But that's not necessarily true, especially the fact that our state doesn't have a budget right now. And because these programs are optional, they're the first thing to go. And you know, we're starting to make plans to backup plans and say, like, okay, can we stop, you know, make sure that we're rationing our supplies that Medicaid pays for. Yes, honey. We will go to the pool.
She said the magic word.
Yes.
Pool. She knows.
Yeah, like that's what we honestly prefer to be doing with our summer. But you know, we packed our kids up and went to DC and put our lives here on hold so that we could fight for our kids and all kids like them.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate your time and letting us know about your work, tireless work as advocates and little lobbyists and moms. And, you know, it takes a village. The studio is a small studio. There's like 3 or 4 other people outside of the studio, including a nurse for medical support. So we thank you for coming in. Keep us posted as far as your efforts go. And Kinsley and Emma, nice to meet you. Enjoy the pool.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we're going to go to the pool now.
It's time to go to the pool.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
All right, appreciate you guys. Little lobbyists. And that story is up on WCNC Charlotte if you want to go check it out and share it. Right now, we are monitoring things out of D.C. A hearing is planned for 11 o'clock this morning. Kilmore Abrego, who was living in Maryland, was deported because he's charged with facing human trafficking charges, so deported back to his native El Salvador, but then brought back to the U.S., where he is now in federal custody in Tennessee. Right now, supporters want him returned back to the District of Maryland, but there's a rally that's taking place outside of the courthouse in D.C. at hearing to begin at 11 o'clock. Let's listen in.
Banish migrants from their families and communities. We must reject archaic criminal provisions as solutions and take on the necessary and challenging work of focusing on modern, community-led transformative solutions that improve our lives and our communities. That is the only safety worth pursuing. Thank you.
Give it up for Ronald, y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ronald. Look, we have to work together as a community to build a better present and future for us all. And the reality is we cannot do that work without our elected officials. And we are so grateful for those officials who have been bold, who have been loud in standing with us and continue to fight with us every single day, including standing in the rain with us today. So I want to recognize Councilmember Eric Olson, who's here with us today. There you are. Delegate Denny Taveras, our wonderful hype woman who was on our and of course, the chair of the Maryland Legislative Latino Caucus, Ashanti Martinez, who will share some words with us today. Please come on up, delegate.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Delegate Ashanti Martinez, and I have the honor and privilege of representing Prince George's County, as well as serving chair of the Maryland Legislative Latino Caucus. We're gathered here today because justice is on trial. Because a Maryland man, a father, a husband, a neighbor, is being dragged into a legal and political storm that threatens the very principles this nation claims to stand for. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is a Maryland man, not a gang member. He is not a threat. He is not a flight risk. He is not a criminal. He's a Prince Georgian, a man who's raising his family here, paying his taxes and contributing to the fabric of this state like so many other hardworking immigrants who call Maryland home. Let's be clear. The federal government already admitted it made a mistake in deporting him the first time. Now, instead of correcting course, they want to move the goalpost to try far away from his home, his legal support, and the community that knows him and stands with him. Those are the people you see here today.
Yes.
And you might ask yourself, why? Because it's easier to demonize someone from a distance. It's harder to paint a villain of someone who is just a man dropping off his kids at school, when they see a husband working with his union brothers and sisters to provide for his family, when they see a Marylander standing in his truth. And I'll be honest, as chair of the Maryland Legislative Latino Caucus, I could not stand in silence. I want to tell you, each and every one of you, that we are here standing with Kilmar because any day it could be one of us that is now standing on trial, having to defend our rights here as citizens, as neighbors, as Marylanders. We have an obligation to due process. Yes. And so this administration, we simply ask, bring Kilmar home. That's right. Yes. Stop the terror through ICE and the unlawful, unconstitutional actions that have been taking place, because this is America. We have rules, we have process. And every single day, this administration continues to put an assault on all the things that we know normal. Shame. 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 Thank you.
That's right. Give it up for the delegate. Delegate Martinez, thank you for sharing those words. As he shared, this could be any of us. Let's not get comfortable. If we let it happen to one person, it could happen to any of us standing here. Right. We cannot let it stand. Now, throughout the last few months, Kilmar's family has been supported by members of the community. And truly, we must give gratitude to the union members. We must recognize the unwavering solidarity of Kilmar's union siblings. Please join me in welcoming Greg Ackerman, President of the Baltimore, D.C. Metro Building Trades Council. Did I get a long name right? Okay.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you. Kilmar is our brother. We have 30,000 members in this region, and each and every one of them is Kilmar's brother and sister. When this happened, we all couldn't believe it at first, but part of us could, because our members, before they became union, were victims of wage theft. They were told that if they speak up about their issues on the job site, the contractor will call ICE. They were told if they complain about safety hazards, if they complain about harassment, that they will be the victims of immigration enforcement. Shame. Shame. And unfortunately, under this administration, that continues to happen on the job site. What none of us thought would happen is what happened to Kilmar, which is when he was picking up his kids from preschool, that he was also illegally kidnapped and sent back to El Salvador. Our members know that this could happen to every single one of them. And so to Kilmar's family, I hope you know that our 30,000 members, they are Kilmar's sisters and brothers. That's
right.
That's right.
That's right.
We are not just a nation of immigrants, we are a union of immigrants. Our unions were founded by immigrants who came to this country.
That's right.
And they were harassed and they were the victims of wage theft. And then hundreds of years later, that still happens. And all we have left to do is we have to band together. Our unions, we don't have a choice. This could happen to Kilmar, and this could happen to any single one of our 30,000 members. So
That's right.
Please, 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 if we want to continue to create a middle class in this country, it is imperative to bring Kilmar home. These things are completely related.
Yeah.
So On behalf of my union, the painters and allied trades, on behalf of all of the building trades, we stand with Kilmar, and we have one simple message: bring Kilmar home.
That's right. That's right. Bring Kilmar home. 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 Give it up for union solidarity, y'all. Give it up for union solidarity. The fight for immigrants' rights is a fight for workers' rights. It is my pleasure to welcome our last speaker to the mic, Samuel Epps, President of the Metropolitan Washington Council of the AFL-CIO, the largest federation of labor unions in the nation, fighting loud and clear for immigrants. Come on up, Sam.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Kilmar is our brother. You heard that from Greg. I'm the president of the Metropolitan Washington Council, AFL-CIO, representing 150,000 union members here in Prince George's County, D.C., Charles Calvert, and Montgomery County. And we stand here in solidarity with our brother Kilmar, his family, our allies across the community, CASA, and all our community partners here. You know, this past weekend we all celebrated freedom. Our country celebrated the 4th of July. Kilmar did not get to celebrate that with his family this past weekend. His freedom, his due process has been taken away from him. And we're shamed, absolutely shameful. And we stand here as union brothers and sisters saying an injury to one is an injury to all. Right. And so no matter if you're a teacher teaching in a school here in Prince George's County, an iron worker here building a building, a hotel worker at National Harbor, we are all Kilmar. And we stand here saying bring Kilmar home. And we want Kilmar home because he's one of us. And across this country, our government is terrorizing working people across this country, not only economically, but also socially, and blaming workers, black and brown, that they're taking something from someone else. It is the oligarchs in this country who are now taking freedom from all of us, and we won't stand until Kilmar comes home. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you so much, Sam, and thank you to all of you for being here today. Again, we knew it would rain, but here we are showing up as always. So, we are going to go inside the courtroom because, you know, we are going to fight through every means possible, outside the courtroom and inside the courtroom. We are going in there. We will be back out here after the hearing with the attorneys that argue on this case to take any questions that you all might have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you are watching live right now a rally taking place outside of the courthouse where a hearing will be happening around 11 o'clock this morning in the case of Abrego Garcia, his supporters trying to get him freed from a Tennessee federal prison and move him back to the District of Maryland. You are watching Live Impact News here on WCNC Plus. As we are coming up on 10:30 right now, it is another devastating day for Texas, South Texas and Central Texas and the Hill Country, where the search teams are getting ready for another day of looking for victims. Dozens of people still reported missing, and again, Camp Mystic confirming 27 young girls and counselors from their camp along the Guadalupe River confirmed dead. Overnight flooding in the Hill Country there in Kerrville, affecting things in the early morning hours of July 4th. So 80 people, at least 80 people now confirmed dead, dozens still missing from Hill Country. As we monitor things there, press conference is expected around 11 o'clock this morning from EMS officials in that part of Texas. So we're going to monitor things here and bring you the latest on WCNC Charlotte at during the midday. In the meantime, want to get to a story now back here in the Queen City, around the Queen City. A lot of people wondering. And it's a story that we brought you last week that we tried to bring you here on Friday. A lot of people wondering what is up with the name Sharon Road. Why do we have so many Sharon Roads in the Charlotte area? Well, of course, our Larry Sprinkle, who handles now everything community based stories, covering things, uncovering the history.
He's been here for so long, he knows history behind.
He knows
a little bit about everything.
Yes, doesn't he though? Our Larry Sprinkle, 40 years here at WCNC Charlotte, sitting down with our Nick Sturdivant, previously recorded interview here in the Impact Studio. Let's go ahead and take a listen to their conversation.
All right, let's come back home because we have a special guest here. A great guy. Look, this is his first time here in the studio in the afternoon.
Special is putting it lightly.
I call him Larry the Legend.
He's legendary.
You may know him as Larry Sprinkle.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Or 40. Or 4040.
You're talking about my birthday, 40th birthday? Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Larry the Legend, a.k.a. Larry Sprinkle, is here. Larry, you're never comfortable when I call you Larry the Legend. You don't like that at all.
Keep going. You can say it. I'm not. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Before we get to your story, I just want to catch up. How are you doing, man?
Doing great. Just hanging out. I'm still here. A lot of people think I left the station. Right, come on. I'm still here every day.
Yeah.
I still come in. I don't come in. I'm not here at 2:30.
Yeah.
I'm here right around 6:30, so that's a little more sleep. But I'm here every day, still doing things. I'm still on our morning show, little segments I do every day, and some stories that run during the daytime, and just kind of hanging out.
I see a lot more Larry these days.
Yeah.
You're here. You're here in the afternoon.
Actually, in the afternoon.
Oh, man.
I have this little hidden area back in the other part of the building.
I know.
So I'm mainly back in there, always on a computer doing something. No, I cannot imagine not being at the station. I really can't. It's part of my life, and it's my second crazy family. I love everybody.
We love you, Larry.
Thank you.
But you are getting more sleep? We can't confirm that?
I can't confirm that because I'm still trying to get used to, the new hours. I'm actually staying up very late so that I sleep a little bit later.
Oh.
What sleep? It's a waste of time. You could be here. That's why I'm here.
See, look, this is why they call him.
Working.
Yes.
This is why they call him Larry the Legend.
Yeah.
Keep
So, okay, I learned something new today, and I got a sneak peek at the story. Folks will see it later today, I believe, at 6:15.
Yeah.
Sharon, I've seen it a lot here, and I know a lot of folks here have
driving
seen the
around
word
town,
Sharon.
definitely. Yeah.
So there are roads, there are places named, or Sharon is in the name. Where does that come from?
You can't, if you've ever been to or you live in Atlanta, Georgia, you talk about Peachtree.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere you go, there's a Peachtree in Atlanta. You can't escape it. You think you're on Peachtree the whole time you're there. In Charlotte, especially South Charlotte, you're driving along, and all of a sudden you're on Sharon Road, Sharon Lane, Sharon Avenue. Oh, look, there's Sharon Brook neighborhood. There's Sharon Corners Shopping Center. It's everywhere. A lot of people, Queen Charlotte, we're named after Queen Charlotte City. A lot of people think that must be Queen Charlotte's sister. It must be Sharon. But it's not. It's not mythical, it's historical. That's kind of the key to the whole thing. Sharon actually is a name that goes back in history. Way back in time. Is this a tease for what we're going to run later?
No.
I give the answer?
I want the answer. We want the answer. We're here now.
It's a tease to watch.
We're here right now.
Okay. Yeah. It goes back to biblical times.
Yeah.
It goes back to Israel. There is an area along the Mediterranean in ancient Israel, or is biblical times, called the Plain of Sharon. It's an area along the Mediterranean. It's a plain of very fertile soil, and that's where the name comes from originally. Now, you go to Charlotte, fast forward to Charlotte, you look around and you go, all these Sharons, it originates really from Sharon Presbyterian Church.
Okay.
which was actually organized in 1841. So you had all these settlers that came in from Scotland and Ireland, the Scots-Irish, and most were Presbyterian. So they moved here and they lived out in farming areas. So you have this one farming community out, not near Charlotte, but way out in the country, and it was an area where all these settlers lived, and they called the area Sharon. So they formed a church and said, well, we'll call it Sharon Presbyterian Church. And if you go back far enough in time in our part of the United States, everywhere there was a church, the name of the road in front of the church was named after the church. So you had Sharon Presbyterian, Amity Presbyterian. So there was a road that went from Sharon Presbyterian to Amity Presbyterian. So Sharon Road, and then became Sharon Amity. And so you got all of these names that popped up over the years after that Sharon Presbyterian Church or Amity Presbyterian Church. You had Sharon Neighborhood, you had the Sharon Forest Drive, Sharon Lane, Sharon Elementary School.
And you're sharing
I'm sharing this information right now.
I had to say that because I stole that from your store.
I guess, the story.
It doesn't Larry original.
Consequently, and what happened was, after, if you go and drive on each one of those, you'll find 24 streets, roads, named with Sharon somewhere in that name.
24?
24 in the Charlotte area, yes. Wow. And that's roads or streets or lanes or whatever. And then there are businesses, and then there are adult communities and schools with Sharon also in it.
And now I got to ask, what led you down this road for this story?
Why did I even do this story?
Well, it's very interesting.
I know.
The way he's asking you, what are you doing, Larry?
Yeah, what am I doing?
Because you've been here for a long time, and I'm sure you've seen the name, and you're like, okay.
It's about time.
Yeah, about time.
It's about time we resolve this, because and it really was every day on the way home from the station, I go down Sharon Road. I'm thinking, you know what? There are people that see this, and then they see Sharon Lane, Sharon Forest, Sharon Drive. Someone's got to go, why are there so many Sharons in the city of Charlotte? So when the management here said, Larry, you got to come up with some story ideas. There you go.
There you go.
There's a story idea. So it was mandatory.
It's a great story. I got a chance to watch the story. I know it airs at 6:15, but I just couldn't help myself. I had to watch it.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Before I let you out of here, what did you learn? Again,
the historical part of it. The fact that, well, first of all, if you go down Sharon, if you go into the South, the Sharon community really is the South Park community. And I love history, and going to the Sharon Presbyterian Church, realizing that church goes back to 1841, and there's so many of these churches in the area that go back into the early 1800s, and there's this historical part of it. If you're fascinated with Charlotte history, then that's just another key to what's going on in the history of this great area.
Oh man, Larry, we're gonna have to do this more often.
Let's do it.
Now that I kind of get a better idea of your schedule, we're gonna have to do this more often.
I'd love to. I'm right here. Just call me. I'll come running.
That is Larry Sprinkle. I'm not gonna embarrass you and say Larry the Legend.
Okay.
But I will. Larry the Legend is
Keep
here
it
in
up.
the studio. Larry, thank you for your time.
Thank
man.
you. Anytime. I'll be right here.
All right.
Larry the Legend, the living legend here. Love it. He is still beloved. And Sharon Road. Wow. So many Sharons. And now you know. If you want more on that story, that's also available on WCNC Charlotte. So we appreciate you always giving love to the website and WCNC.com. All right. So right now we are excited. I put it on my calendar, Carlene, that tomorrow is Prime Day.
Prime Day.
Prime Day, you brought this up last week, and I was going to buy some stuff over the weekend.
But you waited.
But I waited.
You're waiting.
Because I'm thinking, let me see what's going to go on sale tomorrow.
Yes, I already have a list. I do it every year. Like I wait off to get like my salon shampoos and like I need some more socks and things.
I need deodorant and some
the essentials,
some toilet little scrubby things that I usually get. So
I want a massage gun like you have because it looks amazing.
It's good stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Who knows what the discount's going to be, right?
They always have some good ones.
Very tempting to go online, do all that online shopping. And you know what that means, though? It's also fodder for scammers, fraudsters. A lot of people are going to hit the keyboards tomorrow for that Prime Day. And so we talked to our Juliana O'Rourke about what you need to look out for when it comes to sales this month. And she came in from the Better Business Bureau. Let's get some insight, remind you what you need to do. Keep on your toes, stay keyboard savvy there for the internet and online shopping. This is previously recorded here on WCNC Plus. We are now talking about what is happening here next week. A little bit of a shopping day, right? So Prime Carlene
Day.
is excited about
I love
this.
Prime Day.
I didn't realize Prime Day is coming up next week, and so that is big news here for shoppers, right? It's very exciting.
It's just one of those days. I do look forward to Prime Day. I load up on all my essentials.
Oh,
and
that's
all of
good
the
idea. I mean, I
things.
definitely take a look because it's what, July? It starts July 8th. I think it goes to the 11th now.
Yes.
So a time certainly exciting for online shoppers, but you know what that means. It's also an exciting time for fraudulent retailers. So with us right now is Juliana O'Rourke from the Better Business Bureau. Hi, Juliana.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us this morning, a couple days before the July 4th holiday. And those sales, I see them advertised. It's very exciting. What are you seeing as the most common types of these types of scans during July?
Yeah, so July is obviously a big month for a lot of retailers to do their very big sales. We haven't had any reports specifically come in, but we always know that around these big sales, scammers are definitely prevalent. So we want people to be on the lookout for a couple different things. So phishing scams, lookalike websites, and then also misleading ads, especially on social media channels.
All right, so when someone finds what looks to be an amazing deal, what's the first step they should take before hitting that buy button?
Yeah, so if you see a really good deal on social media, if you see something being advertised, first and foremost, if the deal is too good to be true, it's probably because it is. Most of the time you're not going to find a really popular product or, an expensive product that you find on most websites. You're not going to find it for, 50, 60, 70% cheaper on another website. But when you're seeing these ads on social media, there's a few things you want to be looking for. Specifically, are there spelling errors? Are there grammatical errors? Before you click on anything, you can actually hover over the ad to see where that link is going to take you. What does that URL look like? Also, is it a secure URL? Is it an HTTPS? Does it make sense based on the business, right? So depending on the name of the company, is it going to be, WCNC.com, or is it going to be a whole bunch of random letters and numbers? Those are going to be some telltale signs that they're probably not legitimate. Or if you go to the website and you do order something, it may not be as great as what you're hoping it will be if you do end up actually getting a product.
All right. Yeah, I mean, phishing scams also increase. That's a risk here as well. What are some of the examples that people need to look out for, maybe suspicious messages out there?
Yeah, so anytime you get an unsolicited text message, email, you kind of want to be really careful with those. So you want to make sure if there's a link, don't click on it, or again, hover over it to see where it's actually taking you. If you know these big sales are coming up and there's specific things like Carlene mentioned, she puts a lot of her essentials in her cart on Amazon. You're kind of on the lookout for these products, I would say, a lot of the time just to see if they ever do go on sale or if anything is going on. And so those are things you kind of want to pay attention to as well if you're getting emails or text messages. And then the same thing when you get emails, who's the sender? Does the email address make sense for the company that it's coming from? Are there spelling errors? Is there grammatical things that you are, if you're reading a sentence, it doesn't quite make sense? Again, random links, those are things you kind of want to pay attention to.
I mean, similar to that line, though, is social media. How does that play into everything?
Yeah, so a lot of companies advertise on social media. A lot of companies are legitimate that advertise on there, but unfortunately we know scammers thrive in social media as well. Lots of people spend a lot of time on social media, and so anytime you see an ad on there, you kind of want to be cautious just because you're not entirely sure where it's coming from. So again, hover over it before you do any clicking. And then also, if you see some really great deal, you should also be able to just go out to that company's website and find that same deal, or if you do a search on the internet. So just, you don't always have to go directly from the ad that you're seeing. Oftentimes you can go directly to the website and experience the same type of promotion.
I mean, you talk about when something's too good to be true. I mean, talk to you about trusting your gut. How important is that in practice?
Yeah, I think that's really important for most people. Like I said, if you see a product and you're like, wow, that's on mega sale and it's, usually $100 more, something crazy, I would think your gut instinct would be, this is probably not right. I know I want it to be true, but it probably isn't.
Yeah.
So just be careful.
All right. And paying with a credit card, you got to do that anyway online.
Yeah, you always want to pay with a credit card. Don't ever use a debit card because that functions a little bit more like cash, but also no peer-to-peer payments if they ask for Venmo or Zelle or something along those lines. Also, gift cards can be red flags if they're like, you can only pay with a gift card. So always pay with your credit card. You have a little bit more protection that you can file fraudulent claims on. So yeah, we always recommend credit card over everything else.
And that definitely helps if you already bought the item and you feel like, oh, I got scammed, right?
Yeah.
Good for credit card purchases. Yeah. Well, I'm about to take a very big, deep breath in there. All right. We are taking... let's see. The other thing we want to talk about this summer, okay, we like July sales. That's always a good thing. The other is for kids in particular. A lot of folks, families, you got your kids, they don't know what to do. They're going to just stay on their tablets and whatnot. And that progress being made during the school year, it is called the Summer Slide. So if you haven't heard, there is a group, an organization, company, if you will, called Code Ninjas. They have so many franchises across the country. There are a number of them in the Charlotte area, as well as, I believe, the Fort Mill area as well. So anyway, we brought a couple of the franchise owners in with their daughter to talk about what Code Ninjas can do for your kids, not only to help prevent the summer slide, but throughout the school year. Let's listen to this interview here, previously recorded again on WCNC+. That coming up, let's just stay on this summer vibe, if you will, because for summer break, for many parents, it means worrying about the dreaded summer slide when kids lose some of that academic progress that they've made during the school year. So what if there are ways to keep your children learning and have fun at the same time? So joining us now, Stephanie and Nick Farmer, co-owners of Code Ninjas. This is TKK and Fort Mill location, along with their daughter, Ariana. Good morning. Thanks for coming here. And you've experienced this program firsthand, Ariana. I'm going to start with the parents, Nick and Stephanie. What is summer slide? I alluded to losing that progress. And how significant is this a problem for families?
So it's pretty significant. Studies show that math and reading are the top ones that become a challenge. They can lose as much to half a grade point in just 6 weeks of summer. So it's really important to keep them engaged in that time.
Oh, wow. And so you guys have a program there in TKK in Fort Mill with Code Ninjas. Talk to us about what that involves, Nick.
So Code Ninjas is a child education center. They have over 400 locations across the world.
Wow.
And they're each owned by individuals. Each center has their own curriculum. Yes.
Yeah. It looks like a lab or a classroom. We're looking at some video here of one of the lab sites, I guess.
Yes, we call it the dojo.
Okay. Oh,
and
I like that.
So the students, we call them ninjas, just to stay in the vibe. And it is, we offer STEM-focused curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So as Nick was mentioning, every center is independently owned and operated, so that curriculum can change a little bit. But the core of it starts with teaching them to develop code and for things they like video games and things like that.
That looks pretty cool. Got the whole. I mean, Carlene here is a gamer.
I am.
So you can.
I like a big setup. I like small counters. Yeah.
The headphones, everything.
Yeah.
Ariana, you went through the program. What do you think?
You went through the juniors program, right?
Juniors, and so what was that like for you? Talk me through a typical day.
Talk about Scratch.
Sometimes in juniors, they will do a game called Scratch, where you can make games by putting blocks together.
Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so block coding itself, though, is the best place to start learning development, even for adults, because it's teaching you critical thinking and how to assemble what you're trying to accomplish. So
Right.
block coding is the foundation where we start pretty much everybody.
That makes sense. I mean, so we've also mentioned that maybe critical thinking, problem solving, and those thinking skills are skills that they're learning, but it's sort of hidden or disguised as fun.
Even reading comprehension is baked into that, because they have to look through the prompts and work together with their peers and think about how they're interpreting the prompts that they're given.
Wow. Ariana, what was your favorite part?
Lego.
Lego?
Lego robotics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
We do
okay.
robotics.
What do you do with the Lego robotics?
Make robots.
Oh,
What can they do, though?
You can make robots that dance. You can make robots that can grab stuff. You can make some that can
Sort colors.
Yeah.
Sort colors.
You can make some that will
SWAT.
Yeah.
SWAT.
SWAT?
Move
Okay, I
things,
see
move
your
things.
hand, yes.
Launch, I think maybe is the word you were.
All right, so let's talk about who is this for, age range, and how, what should parents look for when they look for this kind of activity or camp?
Yep. So we particularly start at age 5 and work up to age 14. I think when they don't have a strong reading base, we've created a curriculum that still works them through and things that are engaging. So from 5 to 7, sometimes that's a little bit harder to find. So if you're looking for programs for your kids, make sure that you're finding something that meets them where they are academically as well as interests. And then for the older range, I think is also hard to find. So we're trying to expand that scope for 12, 13, 14-year-olds, because that's where you see those extracurriculars start to drop off. If you're not in sports, there's not really something for you.
Right.
So we're working on expanding that in things that are interesting, like UX design and robotics, and maybe things they can take into a career, like some of the languages that are used in the workspace, regenerative learning, AI, things like that.
And how do you keep the fun factor while keeping them motivated and wanting to learn? Is it just built in, the nature of the activities that they go through?
Yeah, it is built in, but we've also got, especially at our location, some really good teachers, or we call them senseis, and they do a great job with the kids.
Yeah.
They are really engaged. We've got a really good group, and it's hard because they're high school aged or just out of high school, so they, you get attached to these kids.
Yeah.
And then they graduate high school and they go off to college, but if you can have a good group of senseis that take care of the kids and are fun and engaged,
Right,
that
that's
makes
part of it, though,
makes
isn't
a
it?
huge difference.
Finding a sensei, coach, teacher type.
Yep.
And they ensure that creativity is baked into every step. I think that's really the answer is we're teaching kids to literally make something, whether it's digital or physical, that they want to make. They get to choose what their final product is, and so it gives them a lot of empowerment.
So for the summer, how does that work? Is it a length of time for a program, or can you sign up 1 week at a time?
So the core program that every center offers is called Create or Create Juniors, and that is a monthly subscription, and it's evolving at the pace of the individual student, so it can go on forever. During the summer, there's summer camps, so every week is different. This week we have stop motion animation, Lego robotics, and Minecraft. Minecraft and Roblox are always top programs. And then throughout the year, there's homeschool programs, parents' night out, so kids get pizza, parents get to go on a date, and then we are expanding into a competitive Lego Robotics League. That's another thing that a lot of centers are looking into. I mentioned homeschool, and then we do day camps, like if school is out and you need a place to drop your kid off.
Oh, so you can do it just for the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, especially when school is out, because we know they're working parents, and that your kids get to learn something, and you've got childcare, and you get to go to work.
How do you measure the learning progress? How do you measure outcomes?
We're talking about the belts.
Yeah, so you start the kids just like it's martial arts base, so to speak.
Oh, belts. Oh,
So
cool.
you start as a white belt, and as you complete white belt, you become yellow, and then you just work your way up through the belts, and we all the way up to black belt, which we have
And there's testing in game. We have like 6 black belts right now.
Yep.
Oh.
Every
nice.
round has like a testing module, and then they build a game based off of the prompts, and then the senseis judge them. So they are learning to take in feedback, not just like, oh yeah, this is good and move on. They have to take in feedback without getting upset, and like that's a big lesson.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how they work through. And if they pass, the sensei passes in, they can move up to the next belt.
Do you see kids gaining confidence through programs like this?
Yes. Yeah, especially peer-to-peer. So being comfortable raising their hand for help, but also being comfortable helping their peer, and feeling like they really know they've accomplished something and that they know how to contribute.
And what's the biggest misconception then parents might have about coding for kids?
That it's going away.
That it's going away? Really? I think it's like
we hear that a lot.
A lot.
I mean, you've heard that, right, with the parents. They're like, well, AI is going to take over. And I think the important thing is AI is not it's not foolproof. It's not going to take over. It is, if you don't learn how to use it, you will be behind. So it's another tool in the toolbox that we've got to teach kids and adults that are in the industry. But I mean, everything around us is a digital landscape, and so I think they feel like, oh, it's on the end of its life, and there's just so much more to learn, and it's constantly evolving.
Fantastic. Anything else that we should know about Code Ninjas or sort of this kind of camp for avoiding the summer slide?
No, I think it's just important to make sure you're letting your kids do something that's interesting, so they're getting off the couch and, coupling creativity with the basics and the foundational elements of learning. I think is really important.
Ariana, were you nervous at all, or trying to start a camp like this, or you were nervous coming in here?
You've been teaching junior Lego robotics this week, haven't you?
Wow.
She likes to teach.
How old are you?
10.
10, and already a teacher. That is that peer-to-peer teaching, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you like the teaching, Ariana?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to someone who's just coming on for the first time? Any advice?
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Take your own advice.
Don't be shy. All right, very good. Where can we go for more information?
Codeninjas.com, and you can put in your location and find your zip code and put in the location that's closest to you.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much. This is year-round as well.
Yes.
All right.
We're running stuff all the time.
All right, so summer slide or afternoon or just trying to continue the learning and the engagement and the fun. This is the now and the future.
Yep.
All right, Nick, Stephanie, and Ariana Fisher, thank you so much for joining us here in the Live Impact studio. I hope parents and families gained some good information, and it was so nice to meet you.
You too.
Nice
Thank
to
you for
meet you.
having us.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
Absolutely, pleasure. Here in the Live Impact studio. No, this is the Live Impact studio.
This is the Live Impact
Here and now. We are live Monday morning. We are just bringing the latest and greatest and all the stories that we've been covering. So, Carlene.
Yes.
You're going to have, I thought I was going to be back at 12:30. There was a little
Nick
little
Servant has
confusion.
decided to grace us with his presence this morning. If I say his name too much, he's going to come back here like Beetlejuice.
He will. He'll be like, oh, wait.
oh. So, unfortunately, it's the end of you and I for today.
It's just today. It's just the
today.
beginning of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had enough for the morning. I know you're standing by for a press conference on Kerrville.
Yes.
That should be coming up at 11.
Any moment now. It's scheduled for 11. I do not have a shot up to show you. There's no podium shot or anything like that. So whenever we get it, we will bring it to you. We'll probably be first thing at 12:30 here on Live Impact News.
All right. And I know we were also looking at some flooding in Durham County. About 80 people or so had to be evacuated.
Yes.
So some pretty serious scenes out there right here in our backyard and home.
Roads.
Yeah.
Some scary stuff.
Yeah, because of Chantal. Your mom okay? She's in Charleston?
She's in Charleston.
Shout out, Mom.
Shout out, Mom. She said
she was
everything's
okay?
fine. Yeah.
Because made landfall in Myrtle Beach.
Yep.
But as a tropical storm, now we're just dealing with some of the remnants, but there are some flash flooding